So I've got about 10 minutes just to very briefly say a few things. I'm Russell Dalgleish. I'm an investor. I'm an advisor with businesses, and I'm also an entrepreneur. So I've started businesses, grown them, sold them. But I think if you were to look at all the things I do in my career, you'll see there's a common feature, which is failure. I've very regularly failed at things that I've done. I know, for example, that you do not want to be the sole investor in an independent feature film, because what happens is they just keep on taking more and more money, and you end up with a feature film. You then discover that this country produces more independent feature films than any other country in the world, so there's huge competition. However, that's just one of a number. But these failures are important, because I've discovered that only by failing was I able to understand how to succeed. And that's been, for me, that's business. But we live in a society where we're sometimes a little bit scared about failing. If we fail, what will people think about us? Will people say, you're a failure? That's not what happens. Everyone says, well done, thank you for trying, I'm sure you'll try again. So I would urge everyone to take those risks. We're here at an entrepreneurial event. And Bruce and I were discussing about what was the definition of entrepreneur. So we went to the Edinburgh Business School and asked the head of entrepreneurial studies to give us a definition, and he gave us a definition. And it's really quite challenging trying to work out what this word means. So I'll tell you what I think an entrepreneur is. I'd like to introduce you to Dan Williams. Dan, can you stand up? So Dan's come up from, stand up, Dan. Dan's come up yesterday from Southampton to be at this conference. I met Dan because one of my kids was playing a computer game on their mobile phone. It was a type of game I'd never seen before, so I went off, because I'm an entrepreneur, I went off to find out which large American company had made this game. This gentleman made the game. The game is called Bird Tap, and it's the first of a cycle of games that's going to come out of a company that Dan's setting up. You sit down now, Dan. Well done. I'm also a salesman. So first of all, the game is free to download. So if everyone could download Bird Tap and tell everyone you know to download Bird Tap, that will help Dan and I. The remarkable story about Bird Tap is that it is completely and utterly unique in the world of computer games on any platform. What's unique about it is that it was developed by someone who doesn't own a computer. I think that's stunning. That's what got my attention. How do you develop a computer game without a computer? Because he borrowed his lovely friend's computer. Would you like to stand up? There we go, the lady who supplied the computer. So Dan developed a computer game without a computer. And we're now going to take that on and build a games company and go on and be successful. And there's a world out there that you can be successful in. It doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what sex you are, it doesn't matter anything about you. We can all go out there. And I've discovered in my career that you can go out, you can take risks, and you can be successful. People around the world want to buy solutions from Scottish people. They absolutely adore Scottish companies to come along, knock on the door, and say, we've developed this, would you like to buy it? We are guilty of not going out there and telling them we exist. This country, we talked a lot about historical figures, Scots who created Tarmac Adam or invented the TV or did all these things. But I was part of that. This country developed and has the copyright for the 3.5-inch hard disk drive that was in every computer in the world. We did that, and the guys who created that company in the 80s had to go around the world persuading people to buy that technology. And that's what you have to do. The world is there for you. We've got a speaker on later this afternoon, Adam, who's going to tell you that they've completed a study that have identified 280 different types of support available for businesses in Scotland. And you must go out and find them. People will say, oh, it's awful confusing. I don't know who to ask. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to get the money from, or I don't know where to get the advice from. I have to say, get off your bottom and go and find out. It's there. You can't do it in Newcastle because it doesn't exist. It's a huge advantage we have as a country. Just a quick thing about We Are the Future. So We Are the Future are the organization behind this particular event. So We Are the Future have planned, executed, and put on this event. And it's fantastic. You're all here, we're all having a great time. But where we want to go forward with We Are the Future is we want people around Scotland to put on events like this. And what we'll do is we'll support them. So if you, I keep on saying Stonehaven. If you're in Stonehaven and you decide you want to put on a We Are the Future event, we'll help you. We know who the sponsors are. We know how to put on events. We know where all the local contacts are to help you do that. We'll even provide the speakers. If you want to put on an event somewhere in Scotland, we'll help you provide speakers. All we want is the demand coming back for this help. What we don't want to do is we don't want to go marching into people's hometowns and putting on an event there. That's not what we're about. What we want to do is to support companies support individuals to do that. So, what questions can I answer then? It's an event for entrepreneurs. You must have questions, so fire away. Where do I get the money from? How do I write a business plan? Ah, great, someone's asking a question.
Make sure you draw.
Thanks, Russell. I'm actually not going to ask any of the questions you just mentioned. I'm going to ask, what is it that you're most passionate about? What really makes the entrepreneur in you come alive?
I'm most passionate about being Scottish. And it's not a term I can really define. It's what I am. Because I spend so much time away from Scotland, it kind of makes you more passionate. I spent a fortune with someone to devise a LinkedIn profile for me. They went through my skills, my experience, what I'd done in my life, the fact I had a company that had technology in the space shuttle, and all these great things. And she summed up, she said, "This is who you are." And I said, "You can't put that on my LinkedIn profile, that doesn't make any sense." She says, "No, you are. You're the tall Scottish guy." Because anywhere down in London, if someone says, "Which one's Russell?" they go, "He's the tall Scottish guy." So I suppose that I'm passionate about being Scottish. But I'm also passionate about passing on the help I've been given by others to move my career forward. I'd like to help other people, and that's what I do. Right? I'm very fortunate to have an opportunity in my life that I can offer my help and assistance to businesses. I've tried doing charity work and being on the front end and delivery, and I'm rubbish at that. But if you want to move your business forward, I probably have connections. I can develop strategies. I've got a friend up from London, Marcus. Marcus is one of the most experienced enterprise sales guys. What's an enterprise sales guy? He is incredibly successful at taking products and selling them to large companies. By the way, the trick of business is to sell products to large companies, because large companies have more money. So that's what I'm passionate about.
Thank you, Russell. Over your lifetime and your career of working with entrepreneurs and being an entrepreneur yourself, what is the one thing that, one of the main things that you think you have learned and the entrepreneurs you've worked with have learned in starting up?
I think what I've come to realise is we don't set ourselves steep enough targets, or we don't look to high enough horizons. So we think, I'll start my company, I'll sell to the people I know, maybe they'll know someone I can sell to. That's not what really successful businesses do. What really successful businesses do is they sit down and they go, right, I've made my thing. It solves this problem. Maybe, I don't know, Virgin may be able to use this particular product because I've studied what they do and this kind of solves some of their problems. So what will I do? I'll write to their procurement department and I'll maybe go and see someone I know who's at Virgin who can maybe introduce me to someone. Screw that. Go straight to the guy at the top. If you're running a young entrepreneurial company and you write to the chief exec of some huge company that you would like to sell to, I guarantee I can get you a meeting. What you do is you write the letter very nicely or email and you say, "Dear sir or madam, I am very impressed by what your company has been able to achieve. I am a young entrepreneur and I think I could learn from just spending 10 minutes with you enough to move my business forward." I don't know, what is it, Sam? 90% of the time, You may not get the meeting with the chief exec, but I tell you what, he'll introduce you to someone else senior in that organization, and then you'll go and have a meeting. And at that meeting, you ask them what problems they have. And then you go, thank you for telling me those problems, let me go and think about it. And then you go back with how your solution solves their problem. People spend forever trying to go from the bottom up in organizations. And trust me, if you're under 25 and you've got a good idea, just go straight to the top. I've seen presentations from a chap who's got an international security company that's currently guarding ships from Somali pirates. I've seen a lady who makes homemade cheese boxes. I've seen a guy who's got a solution for early onset Parkinson's. All of these people are successful because they didn't think too much about it. They just went, right, I'll just go to the guy at the top. There's a revolutionary business in Scotland, which is a company called Apple Green Homes, who have designed and developed environmentally friendly housing solutions. And how that guy got the company off the ground is incredible, because he designed it all, got the company, got the solution, knew what to do, didn't know who to speak to. So 7 years ago, he wrote to the British Prime Minister, "Dear Mr. Prime Minister, I have come up with this great solution for environmentally friendly social housing." 4 days later, the Home Office phoned him up and said, "Would you come down and have a meeting? This sounds quite interesting." That gentleman, Alan Wallace, 3 weeks ago was with Alex Salmond in Beijing, breaking ground on building Scotland House in Beijing in a huge development. These things happen. The press doesn't pick up on them. The press decides it's more fun to look at the negative stories. Shoot as high as you can. Oh, I've run out of time. I'm here for the rest of the day. Thank you.